the road to a cleaner, greener Lagos and indeed Nigeria is very long. But a group is driving on that road and they believe the destination is not as far as anticipated. Femi Oye and Mike Ologunye are two Nigerian young entrepreneurs trying to change the status quo. Serial entrepreneurs, they have invested in green electric 2- and 3-wheelers which are currently being assembled in Lagos.
This is what we call sustainable transport. This is what we call electric vehicle. It's charged by solar. It doesn't have any emission. It doesn't have any pollution. It has very limited changing parts that you need to replace. It doesn't have engine. It doesn't have oiling. You don't need to, most of the brake is bad and all of that. You don't have any of that. Everything is electric.
The country's power supply is undependable and in some cases non-existent.
We look at the challenge that we face in this part of Africa and we'll start asking ourselves the question, how can we come in? How can we solve this problem? Then we're very vast in solar energy and we discover we can actually convert some of these vehicles out there to solar vehicles.
Apart from cost, the problem the team also faces is technology adaptation. Government policies, infrastructural decay and enabling environment are all part of the obstacles the green industry is facing in Nigeria. An international infrastructure acceleration for the rollout of zero-emission vehicles at the Global Climate Action Summit was accompanied by major announcements of 100% zero-emission vehicle targets by 26 cities, states and regions, as well as businesses. The summit claimed transportation electrification as an essential action step with its hashtag ZEV Challenge, calling out major constituents to deliver an acceleration of a clean transport rollout across the world. Hashtag ZEV Challenge brings together leading initiatives for states, cities and businesses.
You get to scale and then the unit costs come down and then it makes sense for the industry. And in a way we're doing, this group and ZEV is doing what some countries and some businesses in the solar sector did, which was saying take some upfront costs, be very regulatory and be very sort of heavy on the government policy environments, but then have a lead on what is the future.
Nearly 3 million automobiles will be sold to commercial and government fleets next year, according to projections by the United States Energy Information Administration. That is roughly 18% of all automobile projected sales in 2019. If these new vehicles were electric, those businesses and government would save money on gasoline and reduce their costly dependence on volatile global oil markets. At the same time, they will reduce vehicle air pollution and help ensure better health for the communities in which they operate. To facilitate this electric future, mobility experts say we need to go back to basics. They argue that consumers want convenience and reasonable cost. That means investing in charging infrastructure, not least a network of highway charging stations to make longer distance driving convenient.
Canada all the way to Mexico on I-5 or Interstate 5. And I don't know how many times anyone's going to necessarily do that, but the idea that you can, because people don't buy cars for what I do all day, every day. It's for that one time I do want to drive from British Columbia all the way to Mexico. So we've got to make sure that that's filled in. And so being able to get the infrastructure out in ways where people with the imagination that they bring to cars and what they want the car to do for them, yes, it can absolutely fit that. And then also making sure that we have the infrastructure in places that I talked about a little bit in my remarks, which is where people are, where you're going already, where the car's going to be there for a couple hours when I go on a hike. It's going to be there for a few hours when I go to the beach. It's going to be there for a few hours at the movie theater. And just making sure that we really have the infrastructure in places where it's just easy. You don't have to worry about it. You show up. If you need a couple more miles, you can plug in. I think that's going to be the challenge, and making sure communities all around California and the world are kind of thinking about that. And where do we want that infrastructure in our community, and how do we just start getting it out there?
One thing that is certain is that e-mobility can significantly contribute to reducing local air and noise pollution. The International Renewable Energy Agency's analysis indicate that if air pollution emissions from conventional vehicles were valued by their impact on human health and agricultural crops, external global costs from the use of fossil fuels in the transport sector will be in the range of $460 billion to $2.4 trillion per year, based on 2010 data.
Bringing new partners together. So the digital sector, the grid, the utilities, the battery researchers, the manufacturers, the new manufacturers who might come in and disrupt the current. This is the set of, and then the charging stations, the local authorities, parking, motorway, you know, the complexity of what it takes to make this kind of shift is much more than if you're just bringing in, hard as it was, solar panels or offshore wind. Or this is so economy-wide and multi-sector that the governments at all levels have to show the leadership to set the framework and say, this is happening, this is what we want. We've got local citizens buy into this. It's going to happen. So everybody needs to stop and think strategically about their part in this new story.
Falling costs of electric vehicles and solar panels could halt worldwide growth in demand for oil and coal by 2020, a new report has suggested. A scenario that takes into account the latest cost reduction projections for the green technologies and countries' pledges to cut emissions finds that solar power and electric vehicles are game changers that could leave fossil fuels stranded. Polluting fuels could lose 10% of market share to solar power and clean cars within a decade. Currently, the transport sector is almost completely dependent on fossil fuels. It contributes approximately 1/4 of all energy-related carbon dioxide emissions to the atmosphere, which is set to go to 1/3, growing faster than any other sector. By 2035, electric vehicles could make up 35% of the road transport market and 2/3 by 2050, when it could displace 25 million barrels of oil per day. Under such a scenario, coal and oil demand could peak in 2020, while the growth in gas demand could be curtailed. It could also limit global temperature rises to between 2.4 degrees centigrade and 2.7 degrees centigrade, above pre-industrial levels, while more ambitious actions by countries than currently pledged, along with falling costs of solar and electric vehicles, could limit warming to 2.1 degrees Celsius and 2.3 degrees Celsius. This will drastically reduce the revenue from crude, and Nigeria will be dealt a major blow if the economy was not diversified.
The other one is what you...
To scale production of the electric vehicles, the SME Funds team are training people in green technologies.
The government that is still thinking 30 years backwards, when we need to begin to look at how we want to get position and take advantage of this era, whereby we have huge populations in Nigeria that are youth. They are creative Nigerians, they are smart. We understand how to go about it. All that we need is the environment, is the honest desire, it's the government policy. It's just the little push that is needed for Nigeria to begin to achieve and stay at the front burner of all of this innovation and the changes that we want to see. So what we've decided to do is to assemble young Nigerians, because we travel around and we see these technologies. They are not rocket science. All that we need is just to encourage young people and show them the way.
Urbanization and rising incomes have been driving rapid motorization in the cities. If no action is taken, these cars threaten literally to choke tomorrow's cities, bringing with them a host of negative consequences that would seriously undermine the overall benefits of urbanization. Many believe green vehicles in Nigeria are going to give a very significant lift to the economy, because across the world, Mass transit buses are now running fully green in favor of those cities. They say this is possible here just as the situation is in South Africa, where private investors are already focusing on green vehicles. Experts argue that government policies and legislation would be required to promote and encourage organizations that are looking at green development in the country. That's our program for the day. Thank you for watching. Our inbox file at channelstv.com is available for comments and questions. You can also follow me on Twitter from me, Ayola Kasim, and the file crew here in Lagos. It's bye for now.